Let's talk about charisma. We're always told it's this super complex skill, like you have to memorize a long list of hacks just to be remotely interesting. But what if the secret was way, way simpler? What if it all came down to just one single powerful idea? Well, that's what we're going to dive into.
We've all seen those articles, right? The checklists that promise to turn you into a social superstar if you just follow the steps. But doesn't it all feel a little robotic? A bit fake? If you've ever felt that way, you are definitely not alone. So it really makes you wonder, is genuine charisma something you can learn, or is it just about ticking boxes in a formula?
For the longest time, this is exactly how charisma was taught. Like it was a science experiment with a bunch of rules you had to get perfectly right. A checklist of things to do that, if you did them just so, would magically make you compelling. But honestly, that whole approach just completely misses the point of what human connection is all about.
Look at the difference. On one side, you've got the old way, these really rigid, self-conscious hacks. Hold eye contact for exactly 3 seconds. Mirror their posture. Flash the perfect smile. It basically turns you into a social robot. But the new way? It's a total mindset shift. It's not about your performance. It's about focusing on a real connection and finding ways to make the other person feel awesome.
So, this is the crucial part. We have to get beyond those hacks. Real charisma isn't about what you do or how you perform. It's about how you make other people feel. It's a huge shift from looking inward at yourself to looking outward at the person you're actually with.
Yeah, you got to throw the script out the window. The goal is not to be some perfect actor reading your lines. It's to be a real participant in a genuine back-and-forth conversation. That is where all the good stuff actually happens.
And that brings us right to the heart of this whole thing, the pressure washer method. Okay, I know, it sounds a little weird, but trust me, it's an unbelievably powerful and simple tactic for creating that real connection we're talking about. So how on earth does it work?
It is truly this simple. Just 2 steps. First, you think of a small, specific favor you could ask someone, and I mean small, not something huge or annoying, just a moderate, easy thing to help with. Then, step 2, you just sincerely ask them for their help. That's it, seriously.
And boom, here's the perfect example. Just imagine you're in a hardware store. You turn to someone, could be an employee, could be another customer, and you say this: "Why is this so brilliant?" Because it's super specific, it's totally low stakes, and it instantly makes them the expert. You're not asking for their money or a big chunk of their time, you're just asking for a little bit of their knowledge.
So why is this so ridiculously effective? Well, it all comes down to something we can call the honestly easy twist. The real power isn't in the favor itself. It's in the psychology of what's happening under the surface when you ask for a tiny bit of help.
And this, right here, is the key. We're tapping into what's called the appreciation principle. See, when you genuinely ask for someone's help or their expertise, you're not actually being a burden. You're giving them a gift. You're basically saying, hey, you know something I don't. You're valuable. You're important. And let me tell you, that feeling is incredibly powerful for anyone to receive.
And the effect here is just completely out of proportion. Look at this. The actual burden on them is tiny. Let's call it a 10 out of 100. But the feeling of value, of importance they get from helping, that's off the charts, like a 90. You've made a tiny little withdrawal from their time, but in return, you've made a massive deposit in their sense of self-worth. That's the secret engine that makes this whole thing run.
Okay, so let's tie this all together into a completely new way of looking at charisma. Because if this principle is true, then our old definition has got to change. It's clearly not about being the most impressive person in the room.
And this really is the big takeaway. Real charisma isn't about you showing off how much you know. It's about creating little opportunities for other people to show off how much they know. It's about making them feel smart and capable and valued. When you let them impress you, they feel amazing. And guess what? They associate that amazing feeling with you. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Forget about trying to be interesting for a while, and instead, just focus on being interested. Think about your day ahead. At work, at the grocery store, maybe with a neighbor. Who could you let help you with something small today? Who could you give that gift of feeling valued to? The answer to that question might just be your first real step towards a much more authentic kind of charisma.